Welcome back. In our last video we set up our UI and gave our player a reason to explore by adding collectible diamonds, but right now there's absolutely zero risk in our game. If you fall down a gap, you just fall forever. Today we're going to introduce negative reinforcement. We're going to add our first environmental hazard, these spikes that you see right here. Let's make this game challenging. I apologize for not doing this for a few videos, but by the end of this video you should be able to create and visually label an invisible spawn point. You should be able to adjust collider hitboxes for a better game feel. You should be able to manipulate the transform component via code. You should be able to use on-trigger enter 2D to reset a player's position. Alright, so to respawn our player, the computer needs to know where to put them, so we need to create a specific set of coordinates. Let's right click on our inspector. We're going to come down here to create empty. We're going to name this game object spawn point. Now we need to reset the transforms on this, so let's reset that very easily by typing in 000 on the Z, or you can click on these dots next to the transform and press reset, or you just move it to the general area of where the tree is. And then I'm going to bring it down on the Y a little bit, and it should spawn basically right there. Now, in order to keep track of this, because we can't see it since there's no mesh on it, if we come over here to the inspector, there's this gray cube. If we click on it, we can actually give it an icon to represent it. So I'm going to use just this blue right there, and that should work. And there it is. See, it says spawn point. So now let's build the danger. Let's go into our art folder over here. If you haven't already done so, you can either do what I did and you can add them to as a tile map, or you can take the asset itself out and drag it. So if we go to our art folder, where were these at? Here in this crystal world, so if we click on it, we have spikes down here at the bottom. How do we do that? I got this tile palette right here. Duh. So they're right here. So I don't think they were originally intended to be spikes. I think they're meant to be like sharp rocks, but I'm going to use them as spikes. So you could paint them on, which is what I did. And then create an invisible like kill box deal, which is probably what we're gonna end up doing, but I want to show you one other way you could do it for those that didn't make it as a tile map. So what we can do is we can actually grab the spikes and drag it into our level. Alright, now let's see where those appeared at. There they are. Alright. The easiest thing, if you're going to build it like this rather than putting it as a tile map, drag them both into your level. Let's move them to where we need them to be. Something about like that. We could even probably flip this one by going into the scale and typing in -X. Now if you select them both in your hierarchy, you can right click, you can choose create empty parent and choose spike trap. This groups them all together into one object, or under one object, so when I move the spike trap, the rest of them move. And really you can just move them wherever you need to. So in this case we could move them there. And let me turn off the spikes here so you can see what we're working with. Then we're going to add a component, and we're going to choose box slider 2D. You'll be fine for this. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the scale of it by opening up our box slider, clicking on Edit Collider, and then just adjusting these little boundary boxes to encapsulate the width of it. But I'm also going to bring it down a little bit here. That way it looks like the player actually falls into the spikes versus like up here and not touching them. So I want them to kind of fall down into them. Alright, now that we got that settled, let's go to our scripts. Right click, create mono behavior script, and then you're gonna type in, so we'll just call it hazard. And then from here, all we gotta do is open it up. Alright, we're not going to need to start an updates for it. All we're going to need is just this stuff right here. So first, at the very top, we created a public transform variable, and we're going to name it spawn point. This is going to create an empty slot in our inspector so we can tell the spike exactly where the safe zone is. Next, we are going to use Unity's built-in on-trigger method to on-trigger enter 2D method. And when something touches the spikes, we're going to use an if statement to check if it's the player. If it is the player, then we're going to reset the transform position to the spawn point position. And so that's exactly how that should work. So let's go ahead and save it. Go back to our Unity. We're going to go ahead and drag this hazard into our spike trap game object. We're going to drag the spawn point over here and drop it into the spawn point section, and everything should be good. No, we need to make this box slider 2D a trigger. Now let's press play. We can test it out. And there we go. That works just very simply. Now the other way to do it is, I'm gonna go ahead and drag this. I'm gonna hide it for right now. I don't want to delete it. I'm just gonna hide it. Save my work. Let's turn on our spike traps. Now another way to do this, which is my preferred method, is I like building everything in as the tile maps. Is I'm going to create an empty game object in my hierarchy. I'm going to name it hazard or kill box, either one. I'm just going to name it hazard for right now though. Basically the same process. Put a box collider 2D on it, make it a trigger. I'm going to go ahead and bring it down here to the spikes and just adjust the collision box. Now if you do it this way, the good thing is you can actually extend it out the length of your level. That way if you have more traps, it'll just all work like underneath it, right? It'll just work regardless. It won't trigger anything because it's already looking for the player. You don't have to put a whole bunch down. You just put the one collider in and then stretch it across your level as far as you need it. And so from here, the process is the same. Drag the hazard in, grab the spawn point, drop that in there, and press play. That was weird. Alright, and from there, it works just the way it needs to. And then if I come over here and I miss, boom, there it is, right there. So, there you have it, folks. You have a working hazard, a spawn point that the player comes to once he dies, quote unquote. New environment's now got some danger, some challenge to it, but it's completely static, doesn't move. In video 16, we're going to build our very first enemy that it's going to actively pace back and forth across a platform and hunt for the player. Keep learning, keep building. I'll see you in the next video.